For more than a century, archaeologists believed the story of the first Americans was settled. They thought they knew when humans arrived, how they traveled, and where they first stepped onto this vast continent. The answers felt comfortable, familiar, almost final. But history rarely stays still. Sometimes, the past waits, silent and buried, until the earth itself decides to speak. And in the remote wilderness of eastern Oregon, it just did. What has emerged from this rugged landscape doesn't merely adjust the timeline of human arrival in the Americas. It shatters it. Eastern Oregon is a place that feels ancient at first glance. Jagged volcanic cliffs rise above endless sagebrush plains. Dry riverbeds carve winding scars across the land. And hidden within this harsh terrain are caves, formed by wind, water, and time itself. To most people, they appear empty. To archaeologists, they are vaults. Natural chambers where moments of deep history can survive, untouched, for tens of thousands of years. Oregon's caves are unusually stable. Earthquakes are rare. The climate is dry. Sediment accumulates slowly and cleanly, sealing each layer like a page in a perfectly preserved book. In such conditions, even the most fragile traces of early human life, ashes, bones, tiny flakes of stone, can endure almost unchanged. For decades, researchers returned to these caves with modest expectations. They weren't searching for revolution. They were simply filling in the known story. Excavations began quietly in the early 2000s. Archaeologists from multiple universities set up small field camps, planning to study late Ice Age cultures. They expected what countless North American sites had already revealed, material from the Clovis culture, dating to around 13,000 years ago. A hearth. A few stone flakes. Perhaps animal bones. Nothing extraordinary. Nothing controversial. But as the excavation went deeper, layer by careful layer, the story began to unravel. Instead of reaching familiar Clovis deposits, the team encountered sediment that was older, darker, denser, and completely undisturbed. Beneath where Clovis should have been, there was an entire sequence of ancient layers no one had predicted. The soil told a different story. This wasn't a known chapter of history. This was one that had been forgotten. For much of the 20th century, archaeology held firmly to one model, Clovis first. According to this theory, the first people entered the Americas around 13,000 years ago, crossing from Siberia into Alaska and moving south through an ice-free corridor. Their signature spear points were found across the continent, reinforcing the idea that they were the original pioneers. Textbooks taught it. Museums displayed it. Generations accepted it as fact. But cracks began to appear. Sites in South America suggested humans were present earlier than Clovis allowed. Locations in North America revealed layers that didn't fit the model. Oregon's own caves began producing unsettling hints of greater antiquity. Still, skepticism remained. Extraordinary claims demand extraordinary evidence. And then, deep within one Oregon cave, the evidence arrived. Archaeologists uncovered a cluster of stone flakes resting beside fragments of bone and concentrated charcoal. At first, it resembled a simple hearth. Nothing dramatic. But closer examination changed everything. The bones belonged to animals that lived in the region during the late Ice Age, species that vanished long before Clovis hunters existed. Several showed clear-cut marks, sharp, intentional incisions made by stone tools. The charcoal was tightly clustered, consistent with controlled fire, not a natural burn. and embedded throughout the sediment were unmistakable signs of human craftsmanship. This was not geology. This was not animal activity. This was people. People who lived here, hunted here, used fire here. Thousands of years before anyone believed humans had reached this part of the world. To confirm such a claim, the team turned to the cave itself. Its stratigraphy was pristine. Clean, sharply defined layers stacked like pages in a book, each representing a distinct moment in time. Some layers formed during ancient floods. Others preserved volcanic ash from distant eruptions. None showed signs of disturbance. This alone made the site remarkable. Scientists collected samples, charcoal, bone collagen, organic residues, and sent them for radiocarbon dating. When the results returned, the room went silent. Several dates exceeded 18,000 years before present. Far older than Clovis. Older than nearly any confirmed human site in North America. After calibration, accounting for ancient atmospheric conditions, the ages may extend even further back. The implications were staggering. Humans were living in Oregon thousands of years before the ice-free corridor existed. The tools told the rest of the story. Many were crafted from high-quality chert and obsidian, materials not native to the immediate area. These stones had been deliberately selected and transported from distant volcanic regions. This required planning, mobility, deep knowledge of the landscape. Under high magnification, researchers detected microscopic protein residues on the tools, traces left behind from Ice Age megafauna. These tools were used to hunt and butcher animals that went extinct long before the end of the Ice Age. Humans were there to witness it. Suddenly, these ancient people came into focus. They were not aimless wanderers. They were skilled hunter-gatherers. They returned to this cave repeatedly, likely following seasonal migrations. They mastered fire. They shaped tools with precision. They traversed vast distances. And they did all of this in a world locked in ice. This discovery changes everything. If humans occupied Oregon more than 18,000 years ago, the old timeline collapses. Clovis is no longer the beginning, it is merely one chapter in a much longer story. The evidence points toward earlier migrations, possibly along the Pacific coast, long before inland routes were accessible. It suggests multiple waves of arrival and perhaps entire cultures still waiting to be found. Even more intriguing, the deepest layers of the cave remain unexplored. Below the already astonishing dates may lie evidence from an even earlier moment, when the first footsteps into the Americas were just beginning. For now, scientists remain cautious. They call these dates a minimum age, knowing the true story may stretch far deeper into the past. In the end, this Oregon discovery does more than rewrite archaeology textbooks. It reshapes our understanding of humanity. It reveals the first Americans as explorers, innovators, and survivors. People who navigated a frozen world long before history believed they existed. Their story lay buried beneath centuries of sediment, waiting for the moment when careful excavation and modern science would finally bring it to light. And now, that moment has arrived. The soil has spoken. The timeline has shifted. And the mystery of the first Americans is deeper, older, and far more astonishing than anyone ever imagined.